Hello, everybody, and welcome to State of the Realm, Episode 3, weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. And today, we have some horror stories to share with one another. But first, joining me is my usual host. We have Samuel Slyh, a.k.a. Slyh, a.k.a. Greyfox, a.k.a. Slythefox, a.k.a. You my boy, Blue.
You my boy, Blue.
There you go.
What's going on?
Hey, and a special guest. We haven't revealed our faces yet, but we have a special guest on the show today. He is the hashtag Swagoon himself, JoeNeverFails. How you doing today, Joe?
Got one question for you, Happy.
You do?
Do you even PvP, bro?
The queue times are not that great, so only on Thursdays. Only on Thursdays. How you doing, Joe? How you doing? You're looking real fresh, Joe.
Thank you. Swag.
That's President Swagoon right there.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty much how it's got to go. So, Sly, I didn't get to give you a chance. How are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Besides all the woes of yesterday, which we'll talk about. Kind of comfort.
Yeah, well,
comfort each other on.
I wish we could hug each other over the internet after yesterday and
hold hands, sing kumbaya.
Yeah, there we go. All right, well, we have a lot to talk about today, and as everyone who's watching can see, we have a different setup for the show going into this episode. This is what we like to call a community segment. We're going to be directly talking with the chat. You know, you guys are going to ask us questions. We're going to discuss things between it. We want you to share your experiences with the topics that we're going to be talking about. And if you find yourself, not really wanting to participate necessarily in the Twitch chat, but you still want to be part of the show, you can tweet at DreamNetTV with the hashtag SOTR, and we will update that live. So we have a lot to get through today. Let's get started. The big topic of the day is going to be the live letter special edition that we had this last weekend. Now, we know there was a Famitsu interview, but this show's got to end at some time, and there's no way we're going to be able to get through all of that. So we'll talk about that on a later episode. I'm sorry, because I know that both Sly and Joe they have things they want to talk about in that. I know you guys have things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're gonna
another day.
We got all the time in the world. Heaven's Word isn't until June 23rd. So we're gonna stick to the live letter special edition. Before we even get into the topics, I mean, did you guys even necessarily think this live letter was that big of a deal?
As in, was it necessary?
Was it really necessary to have a full live letter? Yeah.
I mean, it kind of reminded me of like the recap to the announcements at PAX. It's like, well, by the way, guys, this is what we're doing. Don't forget, this is what we're doing. It's a reiteration of a lot of stuff that people already thought was coming.
Yeah, and do you have something to add, Sly?
Yeah, I just feel like all they showed us was, all the goodies in Heaven's Ward in terms of collector's edition and everything that's getting released. Really, we didn't get any extra info except from the Famitsu interview. So I think it was kind of a half live letter, to say the least.
Half live letter.
I don't think it was necessary.
I see some people in the chat talking about, this live letter was blah, it was meh, it was something else that ends in EH. Anything that works like that. So, the first thing that they really spoke about, I mean, they spoke very briefly about how we're going to be getting the benchmark again next month, and we already spoke about that last week, so just be on the lookout for that, new weapon skills and everything popping up in that. But we got the prices for all of the pre-order stuff, which has been available on the store since yesterday, and some people aren't too happy about these prices popping up.
I have 3 more jobs than I did last week.
3 more jobs, are they? 3 more jobs other than Dragoon? Because I know Dragoon's your full-time job. Dragoon's your full-time job.
Well, laying down on the ground's not that hard.
Oh.
Am I right?
Oh.
Sly, you know a little bit about that. I mean, you share the Dragoon mantle.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know, like, Sly, are you gonna get the physical edition, Sly? Like, be real with me. I see that collection behind you. I gotta know if you're gonna.
I am. I like to have stuff for my man cave, so I did end up getting the collector's edition for A Realm Reborn. That's what I got signed by the devs. Yeah, I did end up getting the collector's edition pre-ordered. Thank God. I was thinking, I was thinking that the only thing that really kind of grinds my gears is I was thinking the statue was going to be a little bit bigger. I was kind of expecting the statue to be a bit bigger.
Yeah, it was about the size of an adult male hand. Joe, are you getting the collector's edition?
Yes, I am.
Did you get it? You didn't get it already yet, did you?
I haven't pre-ordered yet. It's just one of those things where it's like I used to sell cars for a long time, and I've been behind this side of the table where it's like if you want this, then you have to pay for it, kind of a thing. I really would have liked something more along the lines of, hey guys, we understand this is what everyone's going to want. We understand this is what the X price is going to be, but it's a lot of money. I'm paying it. Doesn't matter to me. It's got to happen.
Well, speaking of a lot of money, for those of you curious out there, I'm going to at least tell you what it's worth in, dollars before we talk about the other issues. So the physical collector's edition's $130 plus shipping, whatever shipping options you decide to go with. The digital deluxe, which is just the digital collector's edition, comes with all the virtual goodies, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. That's $60, and there's also the all-in-one version, which is a Realm Reborn plus the expansion, just the base games at a total of $60. I think that's a pretty good price. That kind of puts the expansion at the $40 price tag and the original game at the $20 price tag. But the collector's edition, I don't know if you guys have heard about this. But in Europe, man, currency conversion just sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You guys know what the actual price
why did
is?
But the thing is, why did they decide on that? Well, they normally in most cases of any games, you have your euros and then you have your pounds, and like they all kind of equal out to the same value currency-wise. Why wasn't this the case for Heaven's Ward?
Listen, if I understood anything about current, all I know is it's not right. Like, I don't know what the actual conversion rate is, but I'm pretty sure it's not like 1.8 to 1 or something like that. I'm pretty sure it's pretty close to 1 to 1. It came out to like $192 equivalent.
Dollars.
Yeah, like our equivalent of it. Like ours is 130, but the euro or the pound, whichever one it is, it came out, the equivalent was 192 over here. Joe, would you buy it if it was $192, or would you just say
no way?
So do you feel for the people over in Europe?
Insulting. I'm not a mathematician, but that just feels unfair to me. It's disrespectful, honestly. I think, me personally, you kind of have to think from a business standpoint. It's like, okay, X amount of people live here, X amount of people live here. How could it not be equal for everyone? I'm from a fair standpoint. That's where I like to live my life. So, I kind of feel like that's disrespectful from a business standpoint.
Yeah, and Shadow Tricks is pointing out in the chat here, it's actually only the physical collector's edition that had this problem. All the other versions are converted perfectly fine, but this one is busted for some reason. It's literally, as Vidula's saying, it's basically criminal to do this. Now, the site has been down since the pre-orders went live. Something the North American site didn't have a problem with. Do you think they're fixing it? Is that why? How? I don't know how that takes 3 days to fix, but do you think they're fixing it, and that's why the European pre-order site's been down for so long?
I'd like to hope so. If all is good in the world, we'd like to hope so.
What about you, Sly?
Possibly, but
money.
I don't know. Like I'm just money, yeah, but cash, but the almighty dollar. Yeah.
See, the thing is, the way my bank account's set up.
There you go. You took the words right out of my mouth.
I have a checking into savings.
I got a checking into
the
savings.
Conversion's a long.
I got a checking into savings, and
you gotta wipe it on your leg. And Roz is staying in the chat that Twitter confirmed the price is correct. I don't know. I kind of just refuse to accept that. And there are people who will spend regardless. Like, see, we have Panny here. Shut up and take my money.
Hands raised. I'm probably in that demographic. Like, shut up and take my money. Yeah, it's unfair, but I'd be complaining like hell, but I'd still pay the money. Like, I need that swag.
You need it?
Just saying. I need it.
I don't.
The man cave needs a new. Like, it needs a new statue. Even though it's small.
It needs okay, it's a figurine. I've been seeing people calling it statue and figurine in the chat. a statue, like the statue of David is a statue. This is a figure. I would never call this thing a statue.
It's an action figure.
Wow.
It's not an action figure.
It's one of those action figures I'll take out of the box.
Are we going to have this debate?
Yeah, no, that's
it's not enough time.
no. This is exactly the time or place because it has all three of us in the same place. It's perfect. So those pre-orders have already been available, at least for North America, since yesterday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It was supposed to be available at like 7 a.m. for Europe, but like I said, theirs has been shut down. Before we start talking about all the goodies that are coming in the collector's edition box, you know, the pre-order bonuses and all that stuff, I gotta ask, Joe, you haven't pre-ordered it yet, so I just want you to feel our pain as Sly and I kind of discuss this. Sly and everyone in the chat, what was your experience like pre-ordering the Heaven's Word Collector's Edition yesterday? Sly, tell me, how was it?
So I go to Square Enix, which, you know, on a normal day, I could, you know, the screen would pop up, everything would pop up, I'd click what I want. Yeah. Took me about 10 minutes to get to the first Square Enix screen. Then I click Heaven's Ward, goes to the Heaven's Ward choices.
You actually appeared the first time? I don't.
Yes, it did.
You're lucky.
Again, but it took 10 minutes though. It took 10 minutes just to get that first screen up.
Better than me.
And then I click on the collector's edition for PS4, put it in my cart, click to check out, another 20 minutes for that to load, and then, you know, go through the whole, you know, shipping and everything. I think was on average was 3 minutes per page for the whole shipping, payment, address, things like that. Once I wanted to confirm, do the final confirmation, it took about 45 minutes for me, just for me to get that final confirmation. Like, I sat here and watched other people's streams while I was waiting on the little circle going around for like 45 minutes. Come back, look at it, go back to Twitch, come back, look at it, go back to Twitch. Finally, it went through, and then that was pretty much it.
Man, your story is not nearly as bad. Before I do my story, Joe, you may not have a Heaven's Word pre-order story, but I can't leave you out of the conversation entirely. You had a different pre-order story that you might want to tell us about, one that involves a certain bicycle that you told me about earlier.
Yeah, this is great. So for anybody who doesn't know, who's living under a rock, Type 0 HD came out yesterday. And it's a game I've been looking forward to for a long time. I originally found out about it just because the 15 demo was coming on it. So I pre-ordered it months and months and months ago. I needed to get to GameStop last night at midnight to make it happen. So called up GameStop yesterday, tried to coordinate with the manager, then the store owner, if I could get it earlier in the day, to which I was very rudely barked at. I thought it was a great idea. They did not think it was a good idea. Tried to tell them who I was. No one knew who I was. Do you not know who I am, the Swagoon? No, they had no clue. So I end up riding my bike at 10:20 in the evening last night to my local GameStop, 6 miles away into town. I get there very quickly. I'm sweating. I give them my pre-order. I give them my GameStop card. Stand in line. There's a huge line of like 1.5 people at the store. I tweeted it. It was terrible. There's one guy, my buddy Jim, who works there. They know. Another guy who actually watches the stream, which is pretty cool. I got in line. I was the only guy there for Type 0. I get it first. I leave. I get on my bike, and my bike has a flat tire. Whoa. It's rough because my bike is my transportation, and regardless, I never ride on a flat tire. But I was telling myself the whole time, like, this is an opportunity. This is a really cool chance to, to get things going for me. So I said, screw it. I rode my bike home in 18 minutes with a flat tire and a bent rim, and I got online and I got to stream. So it's pretty cool, but not the best for my bike.
Hey, at least you
Have you gotten that rim fixed yet?
No, it'll be sometime later the week. I'll coordinate getting rides to work and stuff like that, but it'll happen. It's no bueno.
Gotcha.
Well, at least you made it, and at least you have some sort of torturous story. I see a lot of people in the chat talking about the cart boss because the joke was endless. The cart had 5 different steps, so now everyone's like, oh, I'm on phase 1. Oh, I made it to phase 2. Oh, I wiped. I gotta go back to phase 1. Oh, guys, I made it to the final phase. Everybody was going nuts, and they're like, cart bosses, look at this. Cart boss is harder than Moggle Mog Extreme. Cart boss is harder than Turn 13. I think the cart boss must be the summon of Goblins from Final Fantasy 15. It's being regarded along the lines of the 3102 boss and the 90k boss, all these hidden bosses that only the most elite of Final Fantasy 14 players get to be a part of. Oh man. Well, I got to stream all of my misery because I was streaming 14. I was like, okay, it's going live, whatever. An hour later, after so many issues. It's literally, I started up, I had it loading on 4 different tabs on Chrome. I had it on 2 different tabs on Internet Explorer. I had it on my phone. I turned on my other computer and opened a browser on there to try and do it. And I was just racing to see which one's going to get done first, And I'm going through it. I get through to the cart. I'm on the final payment screen. And then I realize, oh, I was supposed to get 2. Mel reminds me I'm supposed to get 2 because I'm actually making it through. So I go back to the very beginning, which is fine because it doesn't force you to load the screen out. And I change it to 2, cuts out, logs me off. Got to start all over from scratch. It takes me another 20 minutes just to get those items back in my cart. I'm going through phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, back to phase 2, back to phase 3, on to phase 4. Phase 4 is not loading, go back to phase 3, phase 4, phase 5, finally pay for it. And it says, thank you for ordering from Square Enix Store. I go to my email, glorious pre-order email. And then I noticed there was one email that had 2 items and an extra email with a 3rd one. And I go to check my bank accounts, and what should have been $290 missing from my account turned into $460 missing from my account.
Woo!
Because they gave me an extra. And I've confirmed they didn't just charge me 3 times. I got 3 pre-order codes and everything. So that's going to be fun, trying to figure out if I want to, I'm probably going to end up canceling it. But everyone I've never seen 600 people watch somebody just cuss at a computer screen, at a pre-order screen of all things. And I think everyone's had this experience except for the people who are, patient and realize it's not going to sell out on day 1 because they have an infinite number of copies, pretty much. It was a disaster. So now that we've gotten our horror
all them wipes for that loot, though.
All the wipes for the
all
loot.
Them wipes. Yes. The loot is worth it. The loot's worth it.
But I got more loot than I wanted, which is actually a problem here.
What happened?
That sounds like everything happens for a reason, and it's probably the best idea you could possibly do is give that thing away.
Exactly.
There's a lot of hype already in chat.
Well,
yep.
Don't worry. We've got other plans when it comes to Heavensward, guys. Don't you worry. I'll keep you guys appraised to that later. But this isn't about me. The show's not about me.
I still need one.
A bunch of people texted me like, hey, if you got an extra, and I'm already on the store, but if you could help me out. I got everyone was like that, and I don't blame them with how much hell it was going back. But we kind of all thought it was going to be sold out, like, quick. That's why there was such a rush. They never said, oh, there's enough for everybody. There was literally a tweet that said, no, it's not sold out yet. Yet. That's
Which is worse, buying a ticket for FanFest or buying Heavensward Collector's Edition?
The FanFest
Which
ticket.
Is worse?
Absolutely the FanFest ticket. I don't know what your guys' experience was like with the FanFest ticket either.
Oh yeah.
Was it bad?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like I stalked the FanFest page and reloaded until it actually came up, and actually had my stuff copy pasted ready, just to hit Control V and then type the rest of it in. But yeah.
No, this is something that I can relate to. Absolutely. I was at work for the first set of tickets. Second set of tickets, I was home, day off. refreshing the page 10 times over, got in, finally got through, and I didn't have enough money in my bank account to actually buy the ticket itself. So I had the 10 minutes of elapsed time to call somebody up on the phone and say, hey, can I borrow your credit card number? No big deal. That's how I got my ticket to FanFest.
Oh my goodness. See, that's on a whole different level. Now, I'm going to go through a few more things real quick, and then we're going to be looking at some of the hashtag questions that we have here. We've had quite a few come in. Guys, keep tweeting at DreamTV, at DreamNetTV with the hashtag SOTR. We're going to be going through those questions after we cover a few more topics right here. So, the pre-orders included early access codes, except for the all-in-one. You know, you're kind of assuming of, you know, somebody who wants to do the early access or the pre-order is kind of already playing the game. Also, the EU, the PS3 version's not going to have a physical CE, so sorry for any EU PS3 player. You guys are suffering enough as it is. Now I have to bring this bad news upon you. I'm so sorry. And the all-in-one version is the only version that's going to be available for the Mac, which is also coming out with the expansion. So it means there's also going to be no pre-orders for that either, because there's no early access for the all-in-one version. So, I mean, this doesn't really affect any of us three, unless you guys have something to add about this, any thoughts about a Mac version in general. And please keep it light. Like, I know we got some Mac haters here on the internet, but we need to keep it light. Anything?
I'm a big guy. I'm a big guy myself. Doesn't affect me.
Good reason. What about you, Slyh? Have you ever used a Mac?
Don't affect me.
Or even used one?
I think as a kid we used Apple products. They weren't Macs, they were Apples. I've never used a Mac.
I can hear in your voice you want to say so much more, but we're gonna move on.
No.
No.
The only Mac I worry about is that McDonald's. That's a Big Mac.
Oh.
There you go.
There. Well, I'm gonna have McDonald's. Anyway, moving on. So, what's actually in the collector's edition box? I know we were talking about the figurine earlier, but just to go through things real quick, we have the collector's edition box art. We have the special dragon, figurine. We have an art book. We have a Blu-ray movie disc called Eorzea in Motion, A Realm Revisited, because we haven't beat the A Realm Reborn thing or the A Realm thing at all into oblivion. The game itself, the digital contents, which there's actually, I think this is honestly, I'm more excited for this in the physical edition than I am the actual things that come with the physical edition. We have the Dark Knight Cecil Helm, the Wind-Up Cane Minion, we have the Griffin Flying Mount, and there is going to be a Fantasia, but it's a collector's edition only. I don't know about you guys, that sounds like $130 worth of stuff to me. Not $190 worth of stuff, but $130 worth of stuff.
I agree. I'm kind of more hyped for the digital contents. I mean, all the stuff you said in terms of the physical stuff, like the art book. I'm actually looking forward to the art book because I have the Art of Eorzea sitting on my shelf, which I actually did read or look at, and it was really good. So I'm kind of looking forward to see kind of the concept artwork of Heaven's Ward and Ishgard. But yeah, I'm looking forward. I want my cane minion. If you're a goon, you have to have a cane minion. You have to have a cane minion. That's just like all these other minions I have. Nothing will compares to the cane minion. Goon Squad. Hashtag Goon Squad.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That's all for you, Joe. Joe, you haven't ordered it yet, but I'm assuming that you're now. Slyh earlier said he's the throw my money at it, like regardless kind of guy. You weren't all for that, which means it leads me to believe even though it's 130 and you say you're gonna buy it, like you're kind of on the edge about it. That's what I'm picking up.
It's one of those things where I have to get it. Like it has to be bought, but I'm not going to be happy about spending that much money on it specifically. You look forward to seeing all the stuff in there and you go, wow, I got to have this. But it's like, it's like the reluctant pull out of the wallet, you know what I mean? And bring it over and fork it over to the cashier. The cane minion is fantastic. It's just anyone who enjoys Lancer class or a Final Fantasy lore along those lines looks forward to that. Me personally, I also look forward to the art book. The art is something that I really, really enjoy. But I don't want to have to pay that much money for a video game regardless. I'm going to pay it, but I don't want to have to.
That's fair enough. I can understand that. We've had plenty of collector's editions of games we play come and go, and we never thought we had to have it for those, but it's one of those games where we just can't stop.
You have to.
You have to do it.
Must. Hashtag must.
All right, so we have a few questions here coming in from the Twitter. Thank you, everyone who's been tweeting at us. Some of these we've kind of already touched upon, but you guys went out of your way to tweet it, so we are going to, quickly readdress some of these while we have a little bit of time after talking about the collector's edition. So Darth Saber on Twitter asks, hashtag SOTR, do you think Square Enix are right in charging UK players for the $129.99 for the collector's edition? All the US, yen, and European. We went through this, and we all think it's pretty bad. I think we agree that none of us agree.
You're getting hoodwinked.
Hoodwinked. There we go. That's
bamboozled.
Bamboozled. You have one to add, Joe?
Yes.
No, nothing off the top of the head.
Nothing.
By the end of the show, will you have something?
In the car business, you call it knocked over the head, is what you call it.
Knocked over the head. All right. Knocked over the head. I can relate to that in Jersey. I understand. All right. Next we have Brandon Zachowski. I probably butchered the last name. I know him. He's a friend. We call him Chosky because the last name I'm not very good at pronouncing. So, hashtag SOTR. With the new healer class coming, do you think they will give White Mage a cross-class ability to help with MP regen? The MP. Oh, what do you guys think?
MP struggle though.
I think it kind of sucks that all three of us are DPS and we're just looking at White Mages like, I'm running out of TP, but that's not as bad. I got Goad. I got Invigorate. You got Shroud, and it's on a pretty long cooldown. What do you guys think? You think they're going to give White Mage anything at all to help with the MP issues that they have if they kind of just have to make up for other people's mistakes?
I'll jump in here. My biggest amount of experience with that type of thing is in PvP. So the biggest thing that you use to counteract that is mana draw, a big 50% boost or a 20% boost. It's one move, it's instant, it's off the GCD. You pop it, you got it, one way or the other. I honestly think the two ways that they may address it, they may not, who knows. But machinists may have some type of supplement for that. Additionally, I actually think that's a really great point. That would be a great way to sneak something in there. Astrologian could have something that says, hey, MP regen, that's actually a really great point.
Well, the big concern that comes out is Scholar's MP consumption is, it's a joke because they never run out of MP unless there's some severe issues or lots of raising going around. That's really where a lot of people tend to get the idea that White Mage even has MP issues, where it's more of a playstyle thing. I guess the big question is, with Astrologian coming in, we don't know what their MP consumption is like. We don't know if it's more similar to Scholar or more similar to White Mage. So if Astrologian's able to fill the role of White Mage at the very least and has decent MP regeneration, I think that's really where this question comes into concern. Is White Mage's tools going to be enough to make it competitive with Astrologian and Scholar come to the expansion? Especially because, as everyone's pointing out, all the bards are going to go Machinists. You're not going to have ballads to rely on when it comes to the expansion. I don't know.
I mean, it just goes back to new job abilities. What we're going to see once the new jobs come, will they have anything that kind of takes it over White Mage? And going back to what we were talking about last week, will these jobs be balanced to where people will still go back to White Mage, or people will still go back to Summoner or Scholar? Will it be balanced enough, or will people say that Astrologian is the OP healing class, like in terms of MP?
I mean, I think Scholar's going to stay top of the food chain there, but I mean, Shroud of Saints is on a pretty long cooldown. I'd say White Mage is more unforgiving to new players, is really where this question comes into things. It's so easy to, think you need to do all these things, especially in the Duty Finder. People are making mistakes. You're trying to heal them to make up for the mistakes, and that's really where you notice these things. Joe, are you still going to be sticking to Dragoon? You're going to be trying out any of these jobs while we're talking about it?
Swygoon to 60 first thing, Dark Knight after that, but the thing you have to ask yourself, I think they touched on it really well at PAX, is they went over for about 45 minutes the development and what it takes to go into a character, how they put the time and the effort into it. Usually takes up to a year for a dev team to create these classes. And the biggest thing to take into consideration is how that class specifically works in a raid-like setting. It's not just what it wants to do. Is it a two-hand sword class? Is it going to be a gun-wielding class? It's how that class raids. So taking those things into consideration, I don't think Machinist is going to come in and change the whole game and drop the game on its head. Bards are going to be irrelevant at that point. I think that every class is going to still have its role. Will Machinists have the same supplemental buffs? Will they have the same type of support as Bard? Who knows? From just in terms of the unique weapon that Astrologians have, I think we can expect some really, really nice stuff to come out of that class, some really unique play style. So I'd like to see, me personally, I think the biggest thing is going to be how Machinist DPSs and how Astrologian DPSs, because Scholar stays in no matter what. You need it for buffs, you need it for mitigation, but White Mage is iffy and Bard is iffy. How will it play and how will it affect the other classes that you raid with?
All right, that's a pretty good observation. Sly, you want to chime in real quick?
Yeah, I was about to say, I was about to ask, how long do you think it would take? Because no job, for example, Ninja had to get like a few hot fixes, maybe a few weeks after it came out, or I think it was a month or so. But yeah, are these jobs going to be perfect once they release? Do you think they're going to be perfect when they're released? I don't think they are.
I don't think any job was. Like look at Warrior. Yeah. I don't.
Yeah, you're right. And look how long it took Dragoon to get a buff. Like, Dragoons were so...
How many patches? How many patches? How many patches?
How many patches were we passed over before we got a buff? So, yeah, I don't think any job is perfect when it releases. So, as much as we're looking forward to these jobs and as much as we're looking forward to seeing whether they're going to be MP intensive or they'll be, like, MP OP, we'll have to see after the patch comes out, maybe a month, and see how many complaints they have, how many complaints healers have, or how many complaints range DPS has for Machinists. So,
all right, fair enough.
That's a great point, Sly. That's a great point. That's a great point.
Well, we got a few other questions here we want to get through before we continue the show. So this one I actually really like, and it's just all the videos seem to show 10 players in party. What do you think? Almost every video has shown 10 people together. I mean, I personally think they're just trying to show off all the job armor and that it's, they're not showing off the idea of 10-man parties as much as I would approve of it. But what do you guys think?
Please look forward to it.
Please look forward to it. What about you guys in the chat? What do you guys think? Would you rather stick with the 8-man parties or would you prefer to move on to 10-man parties? And you two feel free to chime in on that as well. Which would you prefer, 8 or 10?
Personally,
want more.
Oh man.
But why do you want
That's
more?
a great question.
Why? Who wouldn't want more? But why? Why do you want more? Isn't it already annoying enough trying to find 7 people to raid together with, or doing the duty finder with 7 people? Have you not seen the disaster that is Labyrinth of the Ancients? Do you not think adding those extra 2 would really bring it over?
Don't get me started in Labyrinth of the Ancients.
Listen, Bone Dragon's so hard, man.
Yeah. But is the content going to scale up? I mean, we're getting to level 60 content. Like, we're getting level 60 jobs. Is the content going to scale up with us? If that's the case, then sure, why not have 2 more people? Why not have another DPS or another healer?
Yeah,
it's all about scaling to the content.
It's also that we now have, like, we're going to eventually add enough jobs where it's going to be hard to decide on 8 jobs. Like, it's really going to be a flavor. Like, that's what creates flavor of the month jobs is, well, we only have 8 choices amongst 13 jobs. What is the mathematical best? What do you think, Joe?
I really want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see it for the complexity in terms of raid. I don't want there to be one composition, which is the boss. I don't want there to be dual monk. I don't want it to be monk ninja. I want it to be, can I run 5 DPS? Can I run 6 DPS? Do we have to solo tank? Do we need to, what if there's an instance where we need to use 3 tanks in the future? 3 tanks, 2 heals, 5 DPS. Will we ever see a tank heal 8 DPS group composition where you can just bulldoze through with your static or with your FC? You know what I mean? Me personally, it doesn't really affect, from my standpoint personally, the only time it really affects me in terms of duty finder is if I don't know anybody online and I have to queue up by myself. You know, if I have anybody that's online, if I'm logged in, I can say, hey, what's going on, dudes? Let's go jump in here. And then you can max it out. Like, you can just go in and say, hey, if it requires 4 DPS, let's do it with 5. If you got a healer that can do it by themselves, that's just so much more opportunity to do more things. That's where the swag comes in. You know, I really look forward to stuff like that. I hope we can see stuff like that where it gives us more choice outside of, like, you have to have a 2 tank, 2 heal, 4 DPS composition. It must be this way. What can we really do with the game? That's what I want to see.
I like it. I like it a lot. And there was a lot of mixed response in the chat. There was a pretty even distribution between people who wanted 8 and people who wanted 10. We had a few jokesters that said 40. No. Listen, we saw what happened. We saw what happened to WildStar. We don't want that. Everyone hated everyone thought they wanted the 40 mans, and then they got there and they were like, okay, this was a bad idea. Never mind. Anyway, moving on before this becomes the anti-WildStar episode. We have another question here. With the new details on Astrologian's release, do you think White Mage or Scholar will feel the pinch of being left behind? And we kind of covered that with this, and I want to expand this question to everybody. Not just that about, you know, White Mage or Scholar being in a pinch, because you have to consider White Mage has the shell on the Protect. They have the buff Stone Skin. They have Stone Skin 2, which just saves you so much time. But then you have, you know, you have the fairy buffs and the Scholars that they have very good MP consumption. They're also very easy to heal and DPS with. And then Astrologian has this healer stance and this barrier stance, which we don't know enough about yet. And they have this, you know, the ability to draw random cards from a deck and combine them with other cards. I don't know. I feel like Scholar is the one that would be left behind, if anything. But what about you guys?
There's just not enough information, I don't think, to make an educated decision at this point. Like, I can only hope, I can only speculate, I can only think so much ahead in the game. You know, it makes me think, honestly, because I'm an anime guy, it makes me think of Kite from Hunter x Hunter, where his ability is, you don't know what his ability is. He can pick from all these different things. Like, what are those random cards going to do? Are they going to be support? Is it going to buff a certain class in the game? Will having one extra class or all of one set DPS buff or hurt your team? You know, I think there's just way too much. Me personally, looking forward to it. I could only see White Mage getting left in the dust. Honestly, White Mage doesn't do enough DPS to be taken to those farther raid positions with nothing else.
Whoa, you need to go use some holies. You need to go
fired. just outside of a multi-target situation. So.
Hey man, I seen Fluid Aura crit for like 1500. That's Fluid Aura doesn't mess around.
Come on now. Fluid Aura is only useful on the top of the ramp on the Cardinal flats.
That's a PvP joke.
See?
I had to know. What about you, Sly? You're the tiebreaker, because I think if anything's gonna get left behind at Scholar, he thinks it's White Mage. What do you think? You're the tiebreaker.
I'd rather have a Scholar. Be honest, like White Mage is, feel like White Mage is going to get left behind.
You don't want that Protect. You don't want that extra 6%.
Scholars are so much useful in terms of AOE. Like I like Scholars better. I think my Scholars better. But if I had to choose in taking into a high raid situation, I would rather have a Scholar.
I don't know, man. I'm not. I feel like I'm getting bullied here. I love you, White Mage.
The question you have to ask yourself.
They hate you. I love you. Okay.
The question you have to ask yourself is, outside of the second boss in WOD, outside of the second boss in WOD, when was a holy applicable in a boss scenario?
Turn 13 if you got balls. You can do it there if you wanted. You want to show off to your friends?
Really?
Come on, you don't need
I'd like anyone in chat. I'd like anyone in chat to respond to that question with a realistic or educated answer.
Wait till White Mage gets the buff, yo.
What if Astrologian gets left behind? We didn't even consider that. Maybe they'll get left behind.
I think that's the last considered scenario. Period. I think responding to that from before, I wanted to say, I believe that the way that they will bring out these classes, for me personally, in terms of my heart, the way that I think they'll do it is every one of these classes will be the best. in the first iteration that comes out. And these people are, I mean, the development team is incredibly intelligent. Gandhi is an absolute genius, a mathematical genius. So when it comes to these classes, there needs to be something that's going to take a player who's been playing nothing but one class for X amount of time to say, hey, how can I shake this up? Why would I want the draw? It's because it's going to be mathematically better or mathematically do different things. I think that's going to apply to Dark Knight. I think that's going to apply to Astrologian, hands down. Machinists may have some type of supplements, which makes it very, very nice to see. But that's what I personally think. I think these classes are going to be insane when they first come out, and then there'll be tweaks down from there. But after that hype is built up, everyone will begin to play these different classes, and then we'll see how it adjusts about 6 weeks later, something like that.
So you want something to happen like, say, what happened in 2.4 when Ninja first dropped. And you saw nothing but rogues. You saw nothing but ninjas. You just, like, the whole world was just DPS. The wait times to get into instances was through the roof because all the DPS was, you had 4 DPS every single time when you got in. But it's not even that. It's like, I feel like there's going to be a certain competitiveness, if that's a word, in terms of job classes and the newer job classes versus the one people, like some people just want to stick to. I want to do Dark Knight. Does that mean I'm going to completely give up Dragoon? No, I'm going to level my Slygoon to level 60 before anything, but I still want to do Dark Knight. I mean, I just feel like I said, the dream Yoshi P has is for every single job, no matter what, even if it's a new job, to actually be on par with something else. People might see subtle differences in each single job, but you want to be able to take any job you like into any situation, no matter what, and still come out. That's the dream.
All right, that's fair. And a lot of people in chat aren't a fan of you guys hating on that white mage. Everybody's talking, like, mentioning the speed runs, talking about Last Boss of Wanderer's Palace. Like, yeah, holy for all these situations. It's so good.
This is great. This is great. Yes, it is good for speed runs of dungeons. It's good for,
what about turn 13,
farming.
Man? What about turn 4?
Where in turn 13? Turn 4, it's great. I'm saying it in terms of a cutting edge progressed raid instance. So far, what have we seen?
Turn 13. You can do it during the ad phase.
Where?
All the gusts.
Where?
The ad phase. You got
on the gusts?
Yeah, do
on
it
the gusts.
Yeah, on the gusts.
So you can do a holy. You can do holy on a gust.
You can do 2 or 3. You can do 2 or 3.
And now are those holies going to out DPS a scholar over 10 minutes, over a 15-minute battle?
Hey, man, it's not about the 10 minutes. It's just about those few seconds where you're like, bam, I'm the greatest.
Milo knows what we're talking about.
Juan.
I hear that. I hear it, and I understand. Like, I personally, I would rather play a white mage than a scholar, and that's the bottom line. Is I would rather play a white mage because of the ability to do things like that. However, when you're bringing it into a raid, when it can DPS and healing is considered, the class that would get left behind because of the DPS factor, I believe, is white mage. I don't need to defend it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where you're not going to see multi targets in a high-end raid unless we see that in Alexander. We may see that in Alexander. If you want to use Holy to clear the clear trash in front of a boss, that's fantastic. That's great. But when it comes down to the top DPS you can possibly have, it's Scholar. That's the bottom line.
I think that's fair.
Summoner slash.
I think what you're saying is a little bit fair. From my own experience, most of the time you literally tell, okay, white mage and fairy, you guys heal. I'm gonna DPS. That's what the Scholar says in almost every final coil. I wonder I'm curious though. I want to see what it would be the other way around if the Scholar tried to handle all the healing, which I don't think they could. Which is why I would leave them behind in terms of healing. But I want to see when it's on the other foot what the white mage is capable of. I want to, and there are people who do that. There are people who have double white mage compositions where one white mage can pretty much handle almost everything. This is good though because these decisions should be what we think about in the expansion. We should be considering: do I want to bring a scholar to this fight because we need more DPS? Do I want to bring the white mage for the extra protect and the stronger stone skins? I think that this, despite our opinions differing, I think this is actually what they want us to be thinking about on a fight-to-fight basis when it comes to Alexander. So,
I think the biggest thing is going to be, if it is in terms of the tweaks, they alluded to it twice at PAX, is that they didn't say high end, they didn't say end game, they didn't say any of these things. They said ultra high end raid bosses, and that was specifically for Alexander. So what does that mean? Does that mean that they have tweaked these battles in terms of DPS and healing so high that we're going to need all of those things? Like, that's what I look forward to. That's what are we going to need 10 DPS? Are we going to need 10 party members to get these things accomplished? That's what I really, really don't know about.
All right. We had a lot of fun with these topics. We're going to have to come back to some of the questions a little bit later because we got so heated on that. We still have a lot of stuff to talk about with the actual live letter. I think we could have spent a whole episode literally just talking about our job's going to be good or bad in the expansion. Whole episode. So we already had, so we've talked about the pre-orders. We talked about the contents of the collector's edition. I want to get your guys' quick opinion on this. So we knew about this a few days before the live letter, but did you guys know there are actually, like, on top of the collector's edition, there are pre-order bonuses just for pre-ordering Heavensward? Were you guys expecting that at all? I mean, I know we had it for A Realm Reborn, but with everything the collector's edition comes with, do we really need even more of a reason to pre-order it other than early access?
It's a better incentive. It makes you, it kind of makes you feel better, like, if you're paying that much, like, in terms of higher level packages, in terms of like the additional CE or the regular physical CE. I'll take it.
You'll take it? Well, let's go over what they are. So we have the Baron Circlet and the Baron Earrings, you know, more Final Fantasy IV-esque stuff, which they are just riding on so hard when it comes to these bonuses. We have a little minion, the Chocobo Chick Courier. It's a small little black Chocobo with a courier's hat. And, of course, like I just said before, you get early access to the game. Now, you don't have to pre-order the collector's edition. You can pre-order any edition. But early access is a pretty big deal, assuming that we can actually play during the early access. Do you guys have any horror stories of your own back from then? It was not good.
I played on a Japanese server, so I had no horror story whatsoever.
What about you, Sly?
Same.
You played on a Japanese server too?
No, not a Japanese server, but okay. I just didn't have any problems. I played on Fanfrit.
I'm so jealous of you guys. But, I mean, so the pre-order bonuses are nice. We can agree that they're nice little extra incentives if you're into glamour or whatever reason. The early access, though, I don't even know what to do with those extra early access days, or if we're even going to be able to play actually, unlike the last early access. I mean, Sly, did you play during? You said you had no problems at all on Fanfrit. None.
No.
I don't believe you, because I can't ask you for any horror stories. Do you have any horror stories of early access at all? Was it all good? I hate you.
It was all good for me.
I hate you. Like, in a loving way, I hate you. And Joe, you played on the Japanese... No, the Japanese servers had to have had some issues, Joe.
No, I had no issues whatsoever. Everybody was saying they couldn't get in the game. I had 2 different characters on 2 different servers. I loved it. I had nothing to do in my life at that time. I had nothing to do but play Final Fantasy. I was at level 50 in the first week before people even started playing the game halfway around the world. So, I mean, I think the biggest draw is that early access. Obviously, out of those 3 things, that's the biggest thing. And it's prestige. You know, it's being able to come in the game and be there before other people are there.
All right. Well,
yeah, the game hates you happy.
I'm not too surprised. I'm not too surprised the game hates me. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. But now the thing about early access, though, do either of you play on multiple platforms? Joe, I know you just recently tried downloading it on the PC, but do either of you play it on both the PlayStation 4 and the PC?
No, I'm strictly PS4.
Strictly PS4.
Right now, I play both.
Play both. So, Joe, you gotta not like what you have to do for having multiple systems.
Well, the tough thing is I'm probably just going to play it on PS4, the early access, and then, you know, it is what it is at that point. I really wouldn't mind. It's frustrating if I had to do both. Like, if I wanted to stream, my setup is better on the PC. And yes, that suffers from a streaming standpoint, but from the gameplay standpoint, a pure gameplay standpoint, I use the PlayStation. So that would be an easy pick for me. And it is frustrating because I would expect a company that puts this much time and effort into making money off of it to also frame their minds around the customer and saying, hey, if I play this on multiple accounts and I have this set up on multiple platforms, why would I have to pay twice? You know what I mean?
You guys
That's frustrating.
You guys heard it. In case you didn't know, if you want to play this game on multiple platforms, like you already have been, you know, you had to buy the game twice already. You knew how it worked, or you did the PlayStation 3 upgrade to the PlayStation 4, whatever. However, the big question has been, am I going to have to buy the expansion for PlayStation 4 and PC if I play on both? The answer is yes. And if you want to play early access on both, you need to pre-order them both. So, yeah. Now, let's be fair here. I don't know if you guys have played Final Fantasy XI where we had double platforms, but back in those days, the internet was still in its infancy. There wasn't all these issues with people wanting a piece of the pie. Like, oh, this is Sony wanting a piece of the pie, but now Xbox wants a piece of the pie, so you got to pay for it twice. That's really what's happening here, because there's licensing problems with this, and this is a modern-day problem that's not Square Enix's fault, like, you know, and it sucks, and I don't like it. I don't think Square Enix could have done anything about this, Joe. I don't think they could have. I think Sony and Microsoft has them by the cojones.
I think you're absolutely right. Reframing from a developer standpoint, from a player standpoint, that's where my my reaction comes from. I wasn't even thinking along those lines. And legally, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's a really great point. That's a really great point.
And another thing you have to consider with PlayStation 4 is you don't need PlayStation Plus for this. This is something that, like, the deal was made where you can just do Final Fantasy 14 on your PS4 or PS3 if anyone does, without having to have PlayStation Plus to even have that. I'm sorry, I had to crack a joke at the PS3 users, but yeah, you don't need PlayStation Plus to actually play online. This is something you can do without having a PlayStation Plus account. Now, with that being said, is that another kind of notch on having to pay for another platform? Because in a way, you're paying for that online connectivity without paying Sony.
Yeah.
You bring it to the PC platform. What are you paying for? Who are you paying directly?
Yeah. I mean, I totally understand. I see people talking about it in the chat. You know, there's a lot of people who are coming by who are talking about how they play on two different platforms. And there's also a lot of discussion going on in the chat about the Steam version, which we haven't even touched upon at all. The Steam version got boned even harder. Because guess what? You bought it on Steam, you got to wait till Steam offers you the upgrade, which means no physical collector's edition for you. I mean, I think Square Enix needs to address it a little bit more clearly, what happens if you want to get the physical collector's edition and you play on Steam. I don't even know what to think of that. And then the Mac version is a whole nother story, because you're gonna need to buy it again for the Mac version. Don't you guys just wish we could go back to a day where this wasn't all a problem?
There was just one floppy disk. Yeah, I wish we could.
Dude, Final Fantasy 14 on a floppy disk, that's, you know what we call that? Final Fantasy 11. Anyway, moving on. Listen, I played it for 7 years. I'm allowed to crack jokes at it, all right? It's an ancient game at this point.
Your grandfather did at that point.
Oh, man. Oh, and so there was the question popping up in the chat. I want to address that real quick. You don't need to buy the collector's edition twice. If you need to buy it on both PlayStation 4 and PC, but you want the collector's edition stuff, buy it once and then buy the normal version on the other platform. That's the word I was looking for. I kept wanting to say console. It wasn't working. But if you're buying it on the PS3, you're prepared to be even more boned. Like, the bonage here is just... There's a lot of bonage going on. So if you're somebody who bought the 20 gigabyte PlayStation 3, sorry, go buy a PlayStation 4 or buy another hard drive. Because the 20 gigabyte hard drive, Heaven's Word itself is like 20 gigabytes. So it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit on the hard drive. Sly, you already cracked one joke, so I'm just going to hand this over to you.
Hey, look, I had a 120 gig when I had a PS4, PS3, so I would have been fine. Now, I know some people do have have a 20 gig, and that's fine, but still, like, you have to consider those people already have saves on there. Like, they already have a lot of stuff on there, and yeah, they kind of knew this was coming. You kind of have to figure people with lower end hard drives knew this was coming. Like, if you wanted to play something, which a lot of content like Final Fantasy 14, why would you have and I hate to say that like that, I hate the sound of elitist, why would you have a hard drive that can't handle it? Just saying, shots fired.
Damn, that's hardcore. You're calling out the hard drives now. Yo, they're gonna shut us down over at like Samsung or something. I don't know. Anyway, what about you, Joe? Do you feel for them?
I mean, it's one of those things that it's frustrating because I remember when I first started playing this game and the only way I could play it was on some really terrible internet on a PS3. And, you know, I idolized people that had gaming computers. I idolized people that had PS4s when it came out, you know. But the bottom line is I needed to do to play the game that I love. Bottom line. It's frustrating because at the end of the day, almost every single one of these topics comes down to money. It comes down to how much money can we make, how much more can we make out of the same market. But for me personally, like I will invest money in my quality of game, period. You know, like I invested in the PS4, I was very grateful to be able to have other things like, I invested in a separate thing that I could have TeamSpeak on. I've spent over $200 on controllers alone, you know what I mean? So I can play the game that I love. I believe that these people know, like, I think they know, like we're going to spend money to do it, or we'd hope. It is frustrating though. Like I could never see somebody having to buy an SSD or an additional hard drive just to download the game and play it on PS3, and then to have to buy it again, to have to get a whole nother system, a whole nother platform on PS4 because you have to upgrade, you know? Oh my goodness. It's, I mean, the hunt, guys, the hunt alone. Imagine.
Oh.
Can't even,
No,
oh my gosh.
I don't want to.
We can't even talk about this. That's another 2 hours.
Yeah, we can't load into the hunt in time to do it, so we're not going to be able to.
Oh my gosh. My gosh.
So one last thing. That was pretty much it for all the pre-order stuff and the collection. PSA, by the way, if you are on the PlayStation 3 and you have a PlayStation 4 but haven't upgraded the version yet from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4 for free, that is ending in April. I don't remember the exact date. I just saw the post today. It was either April 1st or April like 15th or something like that. But if you haven't done it yet and you're something you're planning on doing, you have about a month. You have like anywhere from 2 weeks to a month to finally finish it out. I'm sure some people in the chat are going to be posting the exact date right now. So just PSA real quick before we move on. The first. There we go. The first. We got an answer right there.
Nice.
So you got less than 2 weeks. So good luck to you. If you want to save up $400 real quick, go buy a PlayStation 4. You might want to do that. So, and somebody asking, why wouldn't you do that upgrade? Some people, they have their PlayStation 4 in a static position and they never bring it with them. PlayStation 3, they're able to move it, or it's in a different location altogether. I know people who have a PlayStation 3 and a 4 copy actually separately, both of them on their account, because they have to go to 2 different locations. Not trying to make, trying to figure out why you wouldn't do the upgrade, just letting you know if it's something you're planning on doing. You only have a couple of weeks left to do it for free. So, moving on, we've already kind of gone about an hour, so we're gonna try and go through these last few points quick and then wrap up with a few questions. We got a bunch of news about patch 2.55. So that is coming on March 31st, for those who didn't know. And I don't know what to think about this patch, because we're getting a lot of little things I didn't expect us to get before the expansion. Starting off with Final Coil and the Duty Finder. That's exactly.
I'm sorry. I can't contain myself. I'm sorry, everybody.
I mean, it is the day before April Fool's, so maybe in Japan it's already.
Are we being trolled by Yoshi? Are we being trolled by Yoshi?
I think we might be. Oh. And they're adding Echo after.
I'm gonna start crying.
And they're adding Echo after. Now, in all fairness, without the jokes, I think this needed to happen. I thought we all knew it was gonna happen. We didn't know it was gonna happen this soon, though.
Yeah, and that's my question. Isn't it too soon?
I think
this.
It's been 2 months since 2.5, and then it's been 5 months since Final Coil itself actually came out. I think it's the right time. Just because I don't know when they would do it otherwise. They could do it at the end of April or the end of May, maybe a couple of weeks before it comes out. I guess the real question is, they didn't say if they were nerfing any of the fights. They just said they were going to be adding Echo gradually like they did before, because none of those fights are going to be Duty Finderable. They're not all super hard for an organized group, but I do not trust a single Duty Finder group. It's not like turn 6. It's not like turn 7. It's not like turns 1, 2, and 4. I do not trust these turns, any of them, to be beaten in the Duty Finder without some insane luck and every individual just being skilled. I don't. What you guys were.
Joe,
It's just again silence. That's all.
Go ahead, Joe.
I mean, it's really one of those things. Like it's frustrating because the people that clear this content are organized, they're prepared, they're ready to go, they're driven, and they have the time and effort to invest in clearing the content. Okay, so then you have the next group of people that will clear who are organized, who are driven, may or may not have as much time to devote. They'll clear it immediately afterward. Then and this is the honest truth, if anybody takes offense to it, it is what it is. Then you have the people who don't have the motivation, that don't have the determination, that don't have the game or the skill involved, that want to clear the content.
Is that Yoshi P calling you and
Mom aggro? I told you Mom aggro. I told you Mom aggro.
Got it. Your mom is Yoshi P?
How could I? It'd be really weird if he married me at that point. No. Yeah. It's one of those things that is frustrating. Like someone said it in chat themselves. Duty Finder turn 5 is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Me personally, I can see turn 10. I can really see turn 10, maybe after an hour, 100 minutes, something like that. But when you get to turn 11, and let's not even talk about turn 12, you have no idea. You have no idea what you're getting into. Like they might have the item level to get through, but you need finely tuned DPS. You need to max your class out. You need to know exactly what you're going to be doing to get anywhere near it. I can see 7 Benus. I can see 8 Benus. You know what I mean? It's just, it's laughable from my standpoint. It's frustrating because I could see there'd be a lot of funny videos, a lot of fun things to watch in a Duty Finder 10 through 13. But then again, you never know. Like you really never know. You could get everybody up on TeamSpeak and really do well. So who knows?
But what about the people?
Yeah, and there's that 1 out of 100.
Yeah, the 1 out of 100 who in the chat saying any group that clears 5 or 9 or something like that in the Duty Finder is just all experts to the same server and become a static immediately. You're all obviously playing at the same time, and that's the other thing, Joe. What about the people who? They work, the 9 to 5, they come home, they have a family to take care of, and then they get to play for a couple of hours, and they can't get a static because of that. They have to rely on the Duty Finder. I mean, for them, it's at least nice, regardless of whether or not they're stuck at, 5 to 9. It's not always a skill thing. I ran into somebody the other day in the Duty Finder who did the fight perfectly, and he was somebody who, it was his first time doing it, and he was already adequately skilled, but he had to rely on the Duty Finder because he didn't have a static. And he couldn't beat it because of that. I watched him play. I was in the Duty Finder with him. The guy played flawlessly. He knew exactly where to bring the boss, how to dodge the dive bombs in the pit, how to pick up the snakes, use temp. I was amazed that guy had never done it before.
It sounds like that player has skill at that point. You know what I mean? Like I said, if it's an issue in terms of time, if it's an issue in terms of group dynamic, those people will clear, but it will be after the fact. It may not be world's first. It may not be world's month's first. You know what I mean? But they will have the ability to do it. It's the why I laugh is because you might have the gear level and you might go into clear things like that. And you're going after the gear, but I mean, it's chaos, and everyone knows this. Like, I believe everyone who's watching this, y'all three can agree. Like, the Duty Finder is chaos, and those fights are chaos, even to skilled people. So, I mean, I cringe. I cringe when thinking about it. I cringe.
And
it's gonna help. It's gonna help. It's gonna help, but
not by much. Not by much.
Yeah.
And let's not fool ourselves into thinking that Party Finder doesn't have its share of an organization. It's only a step up of being organized than a DF. So, like, I would definitely, if I had to choose between a DF and a PF, I'm going to choose the PF every single time because there is a sense of organization there. It might not be much. Hell, some PFs can go horribly wrong and can be worse than a DF, but there's still some organization. It's just with DF, and it goes back to what you were saying, Joe. There needs to be some like customization within the DF. For example, T5. Some people can most of the times I'm one tank in T5. Like, and you don't get that option. You don't get the option to cater to what you want to do in a specific raid or whatever you want. So like DF needs to be kind of customizable to fit what you and your group need. Yeah, it's just it's like you say, Joe. It's laughable. It's like DF is laughable.
Okay.
Not to really take it much farther beyond that point. Obviously, Mike, I know where you're coming from, and for people that don't have the time and don't have a static, it will benefit, and they will find the positive from that. However, when we're talking about the rest of the probably 75% of people who will be looking to clear turns 10 through 13, it's going to be frustrating for everybody else who really has the skill or has the motivation to clear that content, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
And then again, like in terms of that person who doesn't have the time, like, would you recommend a DF or would you recommend a PF for them? Because
what I would recommend, is finding a static that's already cleared it to jump into it with. That's what I would recommend.
Right.
It's being brought up in the chat a lot, though, that some people purposely avoid the party finder because in the duty finder you kind of go in with the sense that you kind of know what you're going into. You know, I think that's what it is. You know, you're going in. There's probably going to be other people that don't know. You're trying to kind of learn for yourself, and if you get lucky, you beat it along the way. In the party finder, half the time it's 3 wipes, 3 deaths, you're out, or no soldiery bonus allowed. Though I think that is also an intimidation factor. Like, yes, the party finder has the additional sort of organization, but if you go into the party finder and you type looking to learn this fight, the amount of success you're going to have is extremely limited compared to the people who try those, very few wipes kind of groups, just because even other new players sometimes aren't willing to go into a learning party because they just want to clear it. Like, it's so much harder to use the party finder for things like that, in my opinion. We got a few other things, though, that we want to talk about because I feel like any one of these topics we could have spent a whole show on.
Fantastic points of conversation. Fantastic points.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I'm gonna run through a few right here. We're gonna try and get through these as fast as possible. World of Darkness gear limit being removed. Whatever. Like, to me, that's whatever. Sure, why not? It just doesn't matter. Like, you're so close to the expansion, it's all gonna get replaced. Do it. And I also hate the World of Darkness.
Now, though.
I can finally have more motivation to farm that Onion Knight card I still don't have.
That Demon Hat of Casting, though.
The Demon Hat of Casting.
I still haven't got my Puff of Darkness.
Yeah, see? Motivation. So thumbs up from all 3 of us for that one. But along with that, the Encrypted Tomestone's being added to the weekly quest. So now you're going to have turn 11 in the Duty Finder. Probably we need more details on that still. But you will have the Encrypted Tomestone. So 130 weapons for everybody. Again, anything on this? Like, now is anybody even going to consider doing the Relic at all? Like, before it was sort of, and now it's like, well, 130 weapon and 2 weekly quests. Why even bother?
I've actually had this conversation with you before. It's the frustration of the soldier superhero and the poetic Power Ranger. It's everybody can get to that point and they can get all this gear, this I-130 gear now, but it's what comes behind it. You know what I mean? Like, I get scared when I see somebody with pure 110 gear and no High Allegan, or pure 130 gear and no Dreadworm. You know what I mean? I get scared. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely great for people who want to increase and they want to get better DPS. They want to tank harder. They want to hold more aggro. But I mean, I get frustrated for the people that have spent all of the time, like, and this is very specific from my standpoint. I've got 2, and I know Happy you do too. I have 2 Zetas. I put a lot of time and effort into those to be, for someone to have an I-130 weapon and to be so close and not know the struggle and not know that grind, the commitment, the dedication you need to have those weapons, and then to have them be so close. You know what I mean? It is what it is, but I at the end of the day, it's better for the game, I think.
Better for the game. What about you, Sly?
Yeah, and see, this is what I opposed to Happy a few weeks ago, Joe, in terms of the Carbon Twine coming to World of Darkness and the whole CT storyline and everything. People able to get the Carbon Twine when they're not even hitting Final Coil, whereas you worked hard, you did all the stuff you needed to do, you cleared Final Coil, got your Carbon Twine, got your Dreadworm. But like, the way I see it is, there are 2 options. With now new players, they're going to have 2 options. They can either go for the Zodiac, go for the Zeta, or go strictly for Ironworks / augmented Ironworks. And it's not going to say that they didn't take the time and the effort to get all their Atma, get all their Alexandrite, everything that goes into a Zodiac. It's just saying they took a different route than you did. Like, it's just a separate. There are 2 ways you can go. You can go best in slot, which is Zeta right now, or kind of like pretty close to it, which is Ironworks. those are your options right now. Some people, a few of my friends say fuck Atma. Like, they just gave it. They just, like, the way drops were. They said fuck Atma. I don't feel like doing this shit. I can get my soldiery up, be a soldiery superhero, and not have to worry about, you know, the stress of sitting there grinding Atma when it was old Atma. I mean, now, you can do it in like 4, maybe 2 hours.
Listen, you still need to be lucky to get it done in that time. Don't act like that's a normal thing to get Atmas done in 2 hours.
No, I'm not saying that.
That's very abnormal.
Yeah. But still, like, it's
just
another option.
Yeah.
It's just another option for people.
Yeah, I'm always open to more options. And I see a lot of people with varying opinions in the chat, you know, versus, you know, the full augmented Ironworks, you know, or some people consider it a problem with itemization. You know, most of the Ironworks gear for Bard, for example, is not very good for, you know, what the job kind of needs. And then there's also the question of, are you more hardcore because you spent all the time getting the Zeta, which was a pain doing it all this time? Or are you more hardcore in a sense that you did try to do Final Coil? Like, you went out of your way, you got the group, made sure you were skilled enough to do it. And like Sly was saying, I think these are just different options. One's, you know, both of them are an investment of time. Some of them you can do on your own, and some of them you can do with other people. And, you know, as Heavensward gets closer, having more of these options is a good thing. It keeps people interested in the game. It keeps them progressing. And that, ultimately, you have to remember, we can say, you know, anybody can say, oh, this, you know, poetic Power Ranger or soldiery superhero. But those people are keeping the game. Like, those are the people who help people who are more on the hardcore side that love to go in and beat it and get the weapon ASAP. They keep our content coming. So I am somebody who doesn't necessarily like all of it being open, or it just, you know, it hurts looking back what I went through versus what they go through. But I get it. It's like that's just their choice. That's their play style, and I respect it. That's my stance on the whole thing. I respect a player's choice to not necessarily be, like, down for the relic, down for the Dreadworm weapon, and to just do it in their own time. Or to get a bunch of alternate weapons, because that's what I'm doing. I'm getting weapons for all my jobs at this point. That's what I'm doing it for.
Exactly. That's the biggest benefit, where it comes from. Everyone's going to benefit from it. Like I said, last thing I said of the whole point is, regardless of what your opinion is, it's good for the game. You know, all of it is always good for the game. All the unlocks, the echo, everything is good for the game. Again, pardon me, frustrated I'd like to see, because I'd like to see there be a difference where, from my standpoint, in the beginning of a patch, if I can get something, or we can get something as a group, as a static, to the end of the patch, if it means nothing, like why all the effort then? You know, why go and why strive at the beginning of a patch?
Whatever happened to the days of playing a game to have fun?
This is Eosia!
That's what I'm going to end this point on. What happened to the days of just playing a game to have fun? Why is it always such a struggle to do that nowadays? You need so many justifications for everything.
Hungry Hippos is for those who want to have fun, all right?
I love Hungry Hippos. I'll play you right now, and I'll show you.
Keep it real now.
I'll show you who has this. All right.
That's exactly my point. Exactly my point.
Okay, so we have a few quick things to blow through. There's a bunch of changes coming to the Gold Saucer. Everyone's been requesting this. More MGP from everything. They're going to be reducing the cost of the Chocobo items that you have to use for, like, covering the feeds and everything. They're going to be making adjustments to the tournaments. Not this week, though, because I've already seen people 20-0, and then they have an alt that's 0-20. That's always an interesting thing to see immediately when the Triple Triad tournament starts. They're going to be balancing some of the Triple Triad NPCs. Swift. Rowena. Sorry. I'm just allergic to bullshit.
It's gotta be like
That's the second time I've made that joke. It's not funny anymore. What do you guys think? Because I know Sly. I don't know why I called you Sam. Sly, I know you're a big Chocobo racing guy.
Of course. Yeah. I'm kind of looking forward to this. Like, I already told you, when Gold Saucer first came out, that the economy, like, it was kind of geared on making people come back to the Gold Saucer, spam the shit out of Triple Triad, race, do Chocobo races all night long, because you just over time your MGP will develop, it'll build, but everything was just so damn expensive. that's the way I felt about it. So kind of reducing these costs, kind of giving you more incentive to, do some gates or do some more chocobo racing. Not have to spend as much time on it, but still, I'm going to spend that time on chocobo racing because I want Seabiscuit to be OP as shit. I like the idea. I like it.
What about you, Joe?
I mean, from a similar Chocobo Whisperer, from anybody who's gone into the Gold Saucer and played from like probably the first day or couple hours standpoint, you go and you feel like, wow, why so little? You get your first Chocobo to level 50 and you're like, I've only accumulated 3,000 MGP. I'm supposed to have 1 million, You need it. It needs to happen. It needs to be huge increases in MGP. It's frustrating because I needed to grind for another 5 hours just to cover my Chocobo to get it to my second pedigree. And then I think about everybody else who does not have that time allocated in their schedule. Like, how could anyone else even get to that point outside of the other dailies that they're doing, outside of anything else that they have in their schedule playing the game? I think it opens up the area for other people. Me personally, I get frustrated even more because everybody who was PvPing is now in the Gold Saucer, and now it's going to go back even more. So I'm always SOL when it comes to that.
Yeah, I'm down for it too. And on top of all that, we have the new main story missions coming. We're not going to spend any time speculating on those because we're already, the show's already running a little bit long, and I know that some of us have raids to do, but they got to be dressed up real nice when they go to them. Who? Well, I mean, I'm the best.
Slyh, you ready? You got a static, buddy?
Am I dressed up? I'm on a beer shirt, dude. You're that's goon president right now. You look like state of the goon address.
State of the goon and state of the realm.
I did not full thrust that woman.
Okay, so.
All right,
there
we go.
One last point before we're going to answer a few more questions on Twitter, and then we have an announcement before the show ends. What are you guys going to do from now till the expansion? Like, what is your goal? And chat, I want you to get in on this too. What are your goals from now till June 19th, the early access day, which I know all of you are going to be a part of? So, what's everyone's goal? Slyh?
Get to and clear final coil. That's that's always been a goal. I mean, I know I want to get more gear for my miner, of course. Getting a lot more gil because I'm still third world. I'm still third world in terms of gear. In terms of gil, yeah, I'm still third world. So I need to start mining. Need to start mining some more shards, some clusters.
There you go. What about you, Joe? What's the goal?
There's multi. If anybody knows where my head's at, it's always multi. But I'm very driven when it comes to playing this game. My goal for my alt is Relic Zeta for my alt, Final Coil Clear for my alt, Prepared for Alexander for my alt, for my main 20 million stacked, and another level 130 class. Who knows what it will be.
Interesting. I see a lot of people talking about, similar on your level, clear, maybe turn 5, turn 9. People asking me for loans, little, no. That implies you'll pay me back. No, you won't.
How much is the APR on a happy loan? Like, how much? I need to know this.
Listen, we can talk numbers later. I need to put on something like what Joe's wearing for that. We got people, a lot of people farming up gil.
Come see me.
A lot of people farming up gil, wanting to get every class to 30 is a big one, it seems, because a lot of people think that 30 is going to be the magic level for the new job. So just have everything to 30 just to play it safe. A Kieran mount is also a big one. I don't know if I have the patience to farm all those ponies, but full Dreadworm, leveling all. Yeah, a lot of people with a lot of different directions. I think it's good to 26.99%. That's my APR. Thank you, USMC.
State max is the answer.
Wow.
Okay, so with that out of the way, let's just go over a few last questions. We can wrap up the show with one little announcement. So what do we got here? Let's look through, see what we missed. So first one, which abilities do you hope to see added to the existing jobs at level 60? Something like Holy 2 for White Mage or Ultima for Black Mage. I want you, for timely reasons, I want you to pick one job and give me one ability that you want. Chat, I want you doing the same thing. One job, one ability. Sly, go.
Damn, why you gotta put me on the spot?
I got put on the spot with the
for-
question too. I'm just as smart.
I can't even think right now. Pass.
So what job is pass ability for? Astrologian? Like, no, I don't want this card. I pass.
Really? Really?
I got him.
All right, fine. We'll come back to you. No. You said pass. You can't change your mind now.
Okay. Yeah.
Joe,
Go ahead.
Joe, what ability do you want, and why is it for Dragoon?
For Dragoon, I have to go Goon?
No, you don't have to, but I just assumed you were going to.
I would. I'd like to see a dot on. I'd like to see more. It doesn't. I was thinking Monk. I was thinking along the lines of PvP. My mind was wandering PvP and something that would
doesn't
instantly
matter.
hit.
Doesn't matter. What ability?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a PvP ability.
I'd want to see exactly like I think it's Axe Kick that instantly grants 3 stacks, so you're right there. I think managing your stacks is something that's very difficult for me personally because I ult a Monk on my main on Famfrit. It's something that I have an issue with. If I'm 12 seconds, if I can't find a 12-second gap and I can't keep my stacks, my DPS is very, very, very hard to maintain. So I want to see something where I can I'm back right in it outside of PB, not even the build-up time to 7.2, whatever it is, seconds for PB. I want to see instant PB, instant 3 stacks of Grease Lightning. That would be sick. It's not going to happen, but that's what I'd want to see.
Well, I mean, we're on the same page because the ability I want to see most is actually for Monk. I want to see them get 100 Fists, and my idea for it is that they can't use abilities for 5 seconds straight, but their auto attack timer is down to like 0.2 seconds or something like that, and over the duration of the 5 seconds, they get their 3 stacks. Not all at once, but over the duration. That would be my number one ability to see.
Wow. Please look forward to it.
Please look forward to it. Sly, you've had your time to think.
Sort of like something for Goon, sort of similar to Ninja, kind of a damage boost for the raid. You know, something that works.
So you
at
just
10%.
want them to have raid utility, basically. That's not disemboweled.
That'd be nice. Yeah. I'd like Auto Phoenix, honestly, because that would be helpful.
Auto re-raise for Dragoons. That's
Yes.
not even for White Mage. Not even
Everybody
for
gets
White
one.
Mage. Just for Dragoon.
Everybody gets
just
one.
auto re-raise passive.
It's
when
most
you
applicable.
and it'll
it's
read
most applicable for Dragoon.
when you read it'll read when you die, and you will. This will get you back.
It'll be cross class. It'll be cross class for Heaven's Word. It'll be cross class.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, I see some people with, Black Mage getting Doom or Re-Raise for White Mage. Yeah, Re-Raise is the one I'm seeing the most. I saw Banish for White Mage.
Yeah.
Paladin, anything that's an AoE, please. I'm seeing a lot of that.
Wow. Great point.
Wow.
Great point. That's real, though. That's real. That's real talk.
Anything that's AoE. Oh, my goodness. All right, so that's that question done. We got a few more here. New summons. What about you guys? What do you think? New summons, new Eggies? What about a new fairy for Scholar? Some people think Helios is going to be popping up for Scholar as the 3rd fairy. What do you guys think? Summoner pets allowed too. You can discuss either.
I think honestly, from a development standpoint, from a battle development standpoint, it's going to be difficult to create any amount of new Eggies that are going to be so far different from the Karuna Titan and Ifrit. It's going to be tough to rebuild that. It's basically like reinventing the wheel at that point. It'll be great, but it doesn't affect me. It's so far outside of my realm of gameplay. I don't know when the last time I've summoned. Joe never summons. Joe never scholars. So I don't know. I don't know.
What about you, Sly?
Joe never summons.
Sly, all right. I'm going to throw a different idea at you, Sly, though. What if, because we've heard about Leviathan and Ramu being 2 new Eggies, like they've spoken about this in interviews. Shiva we haven't heard anything about, but what if they just literally made the new Eggies new skins and they started kind of giving you the option, well, if I play the melee Eggie, do I want to run Ifrit or do I want it to be Leviathan? Or maybe if I'm running Caster, do I want it to be Ramu or do I want it to look like Garuda? Sort of to let summoners use which Eggie they want. More of an aesthetic choice and less of a combat related thing.
So just what you're saying is give summoners more freedom.
More freedom to express themselves on a glamour level if these things aren't better. Because
Yeah,
I agree
more
with Joe.
glamour.
I don't think it's possible to add 3 new pets to legitimately add them and not replace the old ones. I think that's what we're going to see.
Is it possible to have too many pets?
It is possible to have too many pets. Minions not included, it is possible to have too many pets.
The cat lady that lives next door would disagree.
See, the thing is, she doesn't take all those cats and go fight giant dragons, I think. Maybe she does.
I think she does.
I think she does. Maybe they're all druids. Who knows? Anyway, what do you think, Sly?
Yeah, same. This is something that really doesn't affect me. It doesn't touch me at all because I'm probably never going to heal a day in my life.
What about Summoner?
I'll tank.
Yeah, tank with Titan Eggy, right. It worked once in Ramu. It was a big deal back then.
It worked once. How
Until
long
it
was
got
that?
hot
3
fixed.
days? 4 days?
Yeah, it lasted about 3
3
days
days?
before it got hot fixed, yeah.
3 days.
Yeah. Okay, I think we agree that...
It's great. It's great in concept. Great in concept.
I mean, he has a
On
lot
paper.
of health.
What I would like to see is if it is implemented, I'd like to see 6 individual limit breaks for the summoner. And I think that would build up a lot of hype around that class. If they end up implementing something like that, which would take a lot of time, a lot of programming, a lot of effort, and a lot of money, if they do, they'd have to spend even more money to make an individual limit break for every single one of those summons.
Well, what if
and
they
that
just
would be
took...
acceptable?
So what's that, like another half year for summons?
But what if they just took literally all the finishing moves of all the primals that your Eggies are, and they just literally copy pasted them, threw them over? There's your astral. There's your limit break. I almost called it astral flow for you Final Fantasy 11 people.
I think I'd be frustrated if I put the amount of time that I put into Dragoon as a summoner. I can imagine there being some really, really hardcore summoner fans out there. I'd be pretty frustrated if I didn't have an individual one per. I would be. That's me personally.
I think that's fair enough. All right, well, we got a couple more questions.
What about the other jobs who are going to be like, well, we only get one. We only get one.
Everybody gets one.
We only get one, and everybody gets one. And Summoner gets 6 or however many. Like
that would be the benefit of being a summoner because there's not many others.
There you go. Individuality. Got him. Okay, let's see, one last question here. What do we got here? We got a lot of people asking about abilities, but I like this one when it comes to job actions. So, #SOTR, with extra job actions coming, do you think we'll see quote-unquote job builds or more situational ability usage? And I think you guys can agree with, you guys have feints since you're both Dragoons. Wouldn't you love a real reason to start using more of those abilities that just feel like they're just not important to you? Do you think like these job builds or situational ability usage will be more common in the expansion?
I really hope so. That's a fantastic question. I really hope so. Like me personally, if anybody knows, like I love a Dragoon tank build. I think it's fantastic. You can actually go 3 DPS in a lot of situations and put all VIT on a Dragoon and still maintain a very high level of DPS with 3 DPS and a 1 healer. To be able to do that in like low level dungeons is fun, but I mean, to use Feint I use in PvP. That's it. Feint is an awesome ability. It's 20 seconds of slow. But you never use it. Bosses resist it, It would be nice. I can also imagine with the monk move where if you parry an attack, you can put slow on somebody. Like that'd be great if you ever used it. Haymaker, exactly. Like if you ever used it, it would be a great move. But also 1-0 punch outside of PvP, absolutely useless. That's a fantastic question.
I'd like to add that in 1.0, Monk's Featherfoot was 1 guaranteed evasion that would wear off, and there were abilities like Haymaker was one of them, that you could only use. So what people would do is they'd stand in a physical AoE, proc the Featherfoot, and then use those evasion-only attacks. As a whole nother level of skill that the monks could go after. I would love to see things like that return.
And that's beautiful. That's when you see the 8 Marauder turn 9. You know what I mean? Like the perfect dodge. It's there's so many things that you absolutely. Yo, he's a beast. I love him. I respect for what he does. It's fantastic to wrap your brain around how you can get through or avoid damage to succeed in an instance like that. It's incredible. So, it's impressive. That's a fantastic point again too, Mike. It's really interesting to wrap your brain around.
What about you, Sly? You've been quiet over there.
Yeah, I think it would be good to revisit some of the abilities that we haven't used ever since like Joe said, lower level dungeons like Feint. Or Joe, you don't use Fracture at all, do you?
Fracture is irrelevant. It's not worth the TPUs.
Exactly.
In short fights,
exactly.
It
would be interesting. It would be interesting to use it, but we would just need to find a way. The developers need to find a way to make it relevant. It sounds good on paper. It sounds good on paper, but
I would love to be a black.
It sounds good in another bill.
I would love to use sleep and any of my...
Exactly.
I think they've gotten a little bit better at it. I remember turn 5, it was very surprising when black mages were very good for things like lethargy, and you had scholars going out of way the miasma, a target strictly for the movement slow that comes with disease. I want to see more things like that, where these individual jobs bring you a specific advantage. An instant cast movement slow like lethargy, kiting around an ad to help you out. Summoners in the old turn 7. I love that kind of stuff, and I really hope... That's a great question, I agree. That we see some of these abilities revisited, where there are ads that attack ridiculously fast. How do you do it? You slow them down with feint.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
And it has to be done. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Would they improve on feint, or would they just, would it just be feint 2, feint 3, or...
The last fight feint was useful. When Chimera was new and people weren't using the hill trick, you could feint Chimera for your relic quest, and it would slow down the cast time of Dragon's Voice. It still does. It's just no one cares anymore. And that would help people who are new to the game to get the silences off in time. And I want more of that. I think that those were good things. Being able to stun Ifrit, which I think made him a little too easy. It's just as soon as you're done with Ifrit hard mode, that's it. Bosses are all immune to everything at that point. I think we're all in agreement.
Absolutely. It's just fascinating to wrap your brain around. It's really fun.
All right, well, that's going to be a wrap for the show. Before we all sign off, though, I do want to share with you guys. Some of you may know that, or you may see in the middle of the screen, in the middle of the podcast, the word Dream. So Dream Network is a network that Sly, Joe, and myself are all part of, as well as many other members. It was a group that was put together for the sake of bringing together like-minded people who had a dream, who love playing video games, and it would be our dream to be able to play video games for a living. So we're going to be launching something pretty much as soon as this podcast is over with, and it is going to be the forums for the Dream Network. So I'm going to bring this up on the screen right now. As you can see, Little, thank you for linking Dream Network TV, the website that we have, in the chat. 1 second here, just need to grab a quick window capture because for some reason the other one wasn't popping up. And there we go. See it on your screen right here. It's going to be a lot of different topics. You're not going to see some of these because, I'm logged in, so you can see some of the more admin related things. But a bunch of different things here. I highly recommend you come. We've some people have come and they've started populating the forums, but I want you to come here. If you have any questions, when it comes to anything at all, just check out the different topics and just be a community. Here at the podcast, we really love having you guys. That's why we have these community segments where everybody gets to talk, and you were so active on the show tonight. It was great. There was tweets, there was tons of messages. People were discussing with each other outside of Sly and Joe and myself, and we want to extend that over to the DreamNetwork.tv forum. So go over to the website. You'll see Roar Snacks spamming it in the chat. Go over, be a part of the community, be a part of the dream. And on that note, I want to thank both of you. That was a great show. Sam, Joe.
Thanks for having us.
Dude,
thank you.
Thank you so much for coming out.
As always.
Real quick, Joe, you're the guest on the show. I'll let you go first. Where can people find you? Twitch, Twitter, wherever.
Anybody who's interested can come find me in the Carton of Flats. No, but seriously, brand new Facebook page out, facebook.com/JoeNeverFails, Twitter, Instagram, PlayStation Network, Steam, all at JoeNeverFails, and twitch.tv/JoeNeverFails. Come find me, boys.
I think we already broke the forums in the time. No.
There's a PvP thread opened up on that forum as well, boys. Just throwing it out there.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody interested?
Do you even PvP, bro?
Do you even PvP, bro? So, yeah, DreamNetwork.tv. Sly, everybody, they know where to find you, but how about you tell them one more time for episode 3?
You can find me on twitch.tv/Slyakagreyfox, Twitter @Slythefox, Instagram Slyakagreyfox07. That's pretty much it for me.
That's it for you. Well, everybody, and I am your final host, Michael. Mr. Happy Poveromo. I didn't even bother introducing myself at the show. I was just so hyped to have both you guys on that I didn't even care about myself. Who cares?
2 goons and an inn.
2 goons and an inn. We might be 2 goons and an inn, but we all share the LOL. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode. We will see you guys. Whoa.
Wait.
One last thing.
One last thing. And for the people who are new to the podcast, welcome. If this is your first time here, thank you for coming. I got to give props to President Goon over there, Mr. JoeNeverFails, because he doesn't. And congratulate the man again because he has become partnered. He's now an official Twitch partner.
I'm amazed you didn't shout that out yourself, Joe. I had something prepared
really,
on
Joe?
paper for it.
Hey, I'd love to throw it out there, but this isn't my stream, and I know about how I'd feel about somebody advertising on mine. So, guys, it's a dream come true. Honestly, it's been a long time, but this week it happened. So, I'm a Twitch partner. I love every single one of y'all. Shout out to Dream because it's without you guys, I couldn't be where I'm at. But today's a beautiful day, and it's the day one of a brand new adventure. So, again, guys, I'm extremely grateful to be a part of this team, and thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Sly.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. Good call, because I have something written down here to respond to him, but I totally didn't think when he didn't mention it to not do. Thank you so much, Joe. Congratulations from me as well. I've told you a million times over. You and I have had a bunch of conversations about it before. But on that final note, let's go let Joe raid. I am your host, Michael, Mr. Happy Poveromo, with the final goodbye. You can find me, well, you're already here, so it's on my it's this channel, so you know where to find me. So thank you everyone for coming by. We will see. Wiki woo! Oh, you're getting so many wiki woos. You know what that is? That's everybody following Joe. That's how you know everyone was watching is going and showing some love, because we're getting all the wiki woos. We don't even need any music for the end of the show because we're going to wiki woo our way out. Thank you everyone for watching. We will see you next week. And until then, take care.
Fantastic, boys.